Hi, I'm George Crump, lead analyst with Storage Switzerland. VDI Only Storage. It's a trend we're seeing in the industry, but doesn't make sense. Well, let's talk about virtual desktop infrastructures first. What we're going to do in this environment is change the schematic of the virtual infrastructure bit, right? In a server environment, we might have a dozen or so virtual machines. In a virtual environment, we might have thousands of virtual machines per server, right? And so now, even though a desktop certainly doesn't require the same amount of performance that a server does, when virtualized and at this level, the I/O requirements are significantly higher than they have been in the past. Now, typically we want a shared environment, so we have availability and things like that, but all of these different virtual desktops really create a challenge. So the number one challenge is in the morning when you turn the system on or the people start logging in, we get what's called in a well-known boot storm and login storm. So it's a massive amount of I/O going down the network, a lot of read traffic. Then really throughout the course of the business day, it's a lot of write traffic because everything's booted, your applications are getting loaded, but you're generally writing things. And certainly writing one Word document to one server is not typically a problem, but doing it thousands of times across thousands of virtual desktops can be a problem. And then in the evening, you sort of have the worst of everything. You have people shutting down and logging out. You might have virus scans. You might do a Patch Tuesday. So there's a lot of different things happening from an I/O perspective. And the key is the user of this desktop is relatively sophisticated now. They're probably coming from a tablet or an Ultrabook or something like that that already has SSD. So to move them to a hard drive based system is kind of counterintuitive. And so the result has been, we have seen the traditional hard drive system replaced with a flash array or some sort of higher end system. It might have some hard drive capacity behind it. And then that hard drive system is used for other purposes, maybe the virtual server infrastructure, maybe Oracle, maybe Exchange. So now you have two systems to manage, and that of course creates a lot of problems as well. So what we need to do is see if we can come up with a storage system that will allow you to have one system that can do multiple environments. And how do we get there? Well, clearly flash is part of the answer. But we've got to have some hard drive capacity to keep costs down. And we've got to have some intelligence in how we use that flash. One of the things we'll learn about in our webinar on VDI Only Storage is how we can adjust the storage system to allow it to handle multiple workloads. Not only the VDI environment, but also the sort of mission critical apps, virtual servers, Oracle, Exchange. And the key is, yes, we need flash, but we also need capacity. We just need to be able to use this combined asset more intelligently. And what that means is setting something called quality of service on these systems. And also potentially using server-side flash, because that also knows how to communicate with the storage system down here. So that way we have this real intelligent environment. We can offload some I/O to the server, but the whole storage infrastructure knows how to work together. That allows us to throttle the I/O demand of each of these different sources appropriately. So our Oracle environment, we can guarantee a certain level of performance. Our Exchange environment, we can guarantee a certain level of performance. And then over here on the virtual desktop, we can decide how we're going to allocate the remaining level of IOPS. So attend our webinar. We'll have experts there on VDI storage to answer your questions, as well as provide you some education on what you should look for in your next VDI storage system, and most importantly, how you should look for something that can do more than just VDI. I'm George Crump, lead analyst with Storage Switzerland.